Go. Hey fellas, your commissioner here and Mrs. Commissioner coming at you for a little week three of NFL action. All right, go watch your show. Okay, all right, thank you. All right. You can tell who had some margaritas too, right? Hey, happiness can be found in the darkest of times if you only remember to turn on the light. Harry Potter, right? Great book series, great film series. We'll start off here as we always do. Hogs eked out a victory. Quite garbage game to be quite honest. Against UAB. Still adjusting here. Excuse me. Okay, great. Cedar Point, great theme park. Highly recommend anybody to go attend that. It was a really fun time. Really fun time. Excuse me. Great way to spend 30th birthday. In case any of you, well, I guess all you guys are 30 now, so too late. Hogs won. Garbage. Played like shit. Looked like no energy. Looked like we didn't prepare for this team at all. Looked like we were just expected to just roll all over them. Didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, I guess whatever. A win's a win. So that's fine. Anyways, let's just go ahead here, get into a recap of last week's games. Start off here with our Deep Eddies. Lemonade vodka. Lemon vodka. One of the two. It's definitely vodka. I tell you, it was vodka. Game of the week between Flo's Fury and All You Need Is Love. And hey, we're back on the game of the week being a huge disappointment from a scoring standpoint, right? Wilson ekes out a win on Monday night. Monday night miracle from Wilson, 109 to 101. To put things in perspective, Wilson was projected 143. Rip was projected 151. They scored 109 and 101 respectively. Garbage. All right. Without Saquon scoring 20 points and Darnell Mooney somehow scoring 18 points, got a touchdown, 3 catches, 88 yards, and a touchdown on Monday night. Wilson doesn't win this game. It looked like Wilson had the game in his hands. He had Saquon Barkley, third down conversion, catch the ball. Eagles win. Wilson wins. Saquon drops it. Now the Falcons have a chance. The first drive, bang, Pitts gets a 10-yard, 11-yard catch for a first down. The game swings back in Rip's favor. And then Darnell Mooney banged again. And then the next thing you know, Rip's dead. Right? Rip's dead. Looked like for certain that we were only going to have 2 0-2 teams. Unfortunately for Rip, he does fall to 0-2. Wilson finds somehow, some way to get to 2-0. Talk about getting off to hot starts. I mean, Wilson, Lamar had a really good game. Devo had a very good game as well. And then Mooney, but the rest of his team just utter dog shit. Justice Hill, 5 points. Sam Laporta just been a absolute bust. Just a big bust. I mean, 3 points. I mean, he had 9 points in week 1, 3 points this week. Just Jared Goff doesn't know how to throw the ball, and Sam Laporta is really suffering because of it. And Tyler Lockett only 4 points. Obviously for Rip, no J Love. Madison, the big free agent of week 2, only got 6 points. Kyle Pitts only 5.5. Cooper Kupp hurt again, 8 points. Brandon Ayuk, 9 points. Stafford only got 13. Just a really bad week all around from both of these owners. That's typically how game of the weeks go, right? I mean, at least this one was close. It was an exciting matchup all the way up until the end. But just not what you want to see. Now, the start-sit average, 92% for Wilson on the season. 89, almost 90 points, 90% for Rip. But, for Rip, his average points through 2 weeks is only 114. And you can see why he's 0-2. Right, you can see why he's 0-2. Next here, we'll go with, is that the highest scoring might be the highest scoring matchup on the week, to be quite honest, between the Dirty Birds of War and Curse of the 101, Taylor's version. Connor puts up the high watermark on the early season, 180.15 to 134.35, the third highest scoring team on the week in the Curse of the 101. Doesn't find a way to win, falls to 0-2. Connor goes to 2-0. What are you going to do? Hey, you score a lot of points. You got to score the most points to win, obviously, right? You got to score. If you don't score the most points, you lose, right? I mean, that's just numbers, right? I'm not a numbers guy. Connor's a numbers guy, clearly, right? I mean, fucking Devon Achane on Thursday night. This guy's got a fucking high ankle sprain. No, he's fine. Career high in touches. 33.5 points for Devon Achane. Malik Neighbors early on. I heard all week that this is going to be the game. Dog shit Commanders secondary. Force feed the ball to Malik, and sure enough, 31.7 points. I mean, he hit 18 targets. He had a 73% target share or something like that. That's never happened in history, I don't think. 127 yards, a touchdown, 6 first downs. I mean, JJ had a 97-yard touchdown. I mean, basically all of his production was off of one play. He got fucking 17 points almost off of one play. One. Jalen Hurts on Monday night, 35 points. I mean, he finally figured out that he can run again. I mean, 6 rushing first downs, a touchdown, 85 yards, 11 passing first downs. He had 183 yards passing, and he gets 35 points. What am I supposed to do? Najee's a bum. I mean, Mixon's a bum. He got hurt. I mean, London got a touchdown, 18 points. Trey McBride got a fumble recovery touchdown for 20 points. It's not great, obviously, right? It's not great. Wandell, 2 catches, 18 yards. 1 touchdown, salvage his day. Brock Bowers and Chris Godwin are the only people on my team who give a fuck. That's it. You know what I mean? I mean, Ladd came crashing back down to reality in a blowout of Carolina. Exactly what I feared would happen. They wouldn't even need him. DK obviously had a great game, 30 points. Bucky, nothing, 7 for 22, garbage. Jared Goff doesn't know how to throw the ball. JT, I mean, 19 points, pretty good, but no touchdowns. I mean, it's shit. My average points is 14 as well, so I guess why I'm 0-2, right? Connor's average points, meanwhile, was 154. Wonder why he's 2-0. Pretty fucking good, isn't he? 97% start set accuracy because his bench is just the worst maybe in the whole league, so... Anyway, whatever. Congrats. Good job, buddy. Next here, the Stroud boys come out salvage from going 0-2. Looked like almost a guarantee against the Swamp Donkeys, 145 to 131. Really, just solid production up and down the board from the Stroud boys. Stephon Diggs was the only player. One of the only players in single digits. Obviously, Ben Sinnott, after the Evan Ingram pregame scratch, Ben Sinnott got a gooser. But ultimately, not too bad there because Parkinson got 2.7 points. Started off hot with James Cook, 3 touchdowns on Thursday night, 30 points. Olave had a solid game. Devontae had a great game, 28 points. JK continues to dominate, 23. Jordan Mason. 18 points. I mean, nice to have. I still would have lost, but it'd be nice to have, wouldn't it? I got Pierce Strong instead, cut. Didn't even think about Jordan Mason. Just didn't even think about him. Just didn't even think about him. Oh, it'd be nice just for once for things to go right for the old commish, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be, right? Because you wouldn't get this great content, right? But Stroud, forgettable game. I mean, 23 points, fine. Mahomes continues to be a disappointment in the fantasy space. Only 19 points for him. Bijan had a pretty good game, 20 points. David Montgomery, 18 points. Sun God had a nice bounce back. Got a little dinged up at 26. Shaheed, 22. Marvin Gaye, Charbonnet, 18, 19 points. Obviously, Worthy came crashing back down to reality. Would Blaine have won if he'd put in Jigba? What is that? 4. That's 22. Oh, yeah. He would have won if he put in Jigba over Worthy. But, hey, I don't knock him for playing Worthy after the start he got off to. So, anyway, both of these teams 1-1. Good for them. Next year, we got the father figures versus doesn't contribute. Ford. This just screamed the under in this matchup, and it would have hit. I think even if A.J. Brown, this under would have hit easily. Unfortunately, it got scratched, lose out on the max bet, $10 max bet. I hate to see that. I still stand by my lock. The lock would have hit. If I could, the live betting, I think you should just be able to bet whenever you want. All right, whether players have played already, the lines are live, right? I mean, you can live bet NFL football all day long. I don't see why we couldn't do it for us. So, I think live betting is fine. Now, the scratch bet still, obviously, still needs to be in place, right? You make a bet with a certain lineup, that lineup changes. I get it. The bet scratches. That's fine. But I do think that the live betting should still be an option because, honestly, Craig was still projected 144, and he scored 108. Ford was projected 145, he scored 129, right? So, yeah, you can live bet. Even if players have played, you can live bet the line. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Free market, right? Let's open this thing up. Let's let some people lose some money. Let's let people gain some money. It's just having fun, right? It's just having fun. But, for Ford, solid week. He's averaged 121. Craig's averaged 123. Both these guys about 92, 93% accuracy on their start sit. Of course, Craig was forced to throw in Allen Lazard because he doesn't really have much better options at the wide receiver room. He picked up Greg Dortch, came crashing back down to reality, only 3 points. Pittman's been a huge disappointment, 5 points. Keon got a gooser. Ford really won this week because of Alvin Kamara's 4 touchdowns. Kamara doesn't score those 4 touchdowns. Ford is below 100 points this week. Let's just be honest. For as good as the scoring was this week for some teams, Connor, it was pretty dog shit for a lot of others. You had doesn't contribute at 108. You had All You Need Is Love at 101. You had Flo's Fury at 109. You had another team at 106. You had the dog shit team where I'm going to get to them. I won't spoil the score yet. Pretty bad week overall for the league, despite scoring feeling like it was up this week. So I guess it was just me, right? Lucky commish. I would have beat 9 teams. There's only 2 teams that would have beat me this week. Only 2. That's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, right? 0-2. Hey, 0-4 makes the playoffs 2 years in a row. Anyways, whatever. Good for Ford. 1-1. Next here, you got the McCockners pulling out a win, 128 to Hawk My Tua, 106. Good for Hawk. Congratulations, Hawk, for breaking 100 points. Good job, buddy. Just another very solid performance from JD after a little bit of a lackluster week one. I would argue maybe the worst 2-0 team. Hawk is probably the worst 0-2 team. Burrow, despite underwhelming, 27 points from your quarterback, still very, very solid in this new scoring. That's a good baseline week, slightly above average. King Henry had a solid game. Singletary had a solid game. Then you look at the wide receivers. Not a single wide receiver over 9 points, let alone double digits. 9 points. 8.5 from Jamar, 5.9 from Pickens, 1.3 from Curtis Samuel. You look at the bench, 0 from Leggett, 0 from Josh Downs. Not good. It's not good. It's not. I think Hawk knows that. But, of course, Kittle had a nice boom week, 22 points. And with Debo being out, you should hopefully think that Kittle is going to continue having some boom games. Dallas Goedert, underwhelming on Monday night, 7.5 points. Just up and down, solid. Nico obviously had a great game on Sunday night, 30 points. Kyler continues to be really, really good. Oh, my gosh, come on, sleeper. 38 points, fourth quarterback. Number 4 quarterback, wow, on the season. Rachaad White continues to be a disappointment this season, 3.3 from him. Amari continues to be a disappointment, 4.1. And the tight end seems to be a little bit to be desired for JD, obviously, with Pat Freiermuth only scoring 9. 9 points isn't bad from a tight end, but it's not what you need, right? It's not what you need. But of course, Gibbs 20 points. You got to really start thinking: does Rachaad White need to be in your starting lineup every week, right? I think Gibbs needs to be as your starting running back. I think Aaron Jones needs to be a starting running back. And then I think you roll the dice. Obviously he benched Kirk. Good decision. Only 0.9 points from Christian Kirk this week. I'm curious to see when maybe Khalil Shakir might break into that starting lineup for JD. You got to think maybe sooner rather than later would be my guess. But anyway, JD's 2-0, Hawk's 0-2. Hawk is clearly the front runner, in my opinion, for horse ass. At least he broke 100 points this week, but he's averaging 93 points on the season. And I don't know where the help is coming from to get him out of that rut. And he's getting his ass kicked right now by a drunk Connor Plunk in CFB 25. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, and then our final matchup here featuring our dog shit team of the week, or throw up all over themselves, arrested, falling asleep on the bench, eating other people's pizza. Team of the week, kickers' lives matter. They certainly don't. 86.25 points from Duncan. He loses to the two-tone Hog Mollies, 117 from them. A little bit of I'll get to him. Obviously for Duncan, huge loss, right? Losing his starting quarterback to only 12 points before he gets knocked out of the game with his 5th or 40th concussion in the last 5 years. That obviously hurt Tyreek, only 8 points from him. Terry McLaurin continues to just be a disappearing act. Houdini, 6 catches for 22 yards. Blah! Blah! Garbage. Terry McLaurin, thank God he took him, because I really wanted Terry this year. I really did. And I was actually pretty upset whenever you took him. Thank God you did, because I just don't think he's that guy. Especially with Jaden Daniels, this offense doesn't seem to be clicking. Plenty of season for it to turn around, but early returns are not great. BTJ, only 12 points. He had 2 catches, right? 94 yards, but, 2 catches. Kelsey just he's had the talent and soul just sucked out of him by Taylor Swift. 1.6 points, probably the worst game he's ever had, and maybe in his career. All right. This guy's running back room is really the only thing he's got going for him. He had 17 points from Ramondre, 9 from Ford, not great. 17 from Josh Jacobs on 32 carries. 32 carries. Wow, wonder if that's sustainable. I bet it isn't. Did lose a fumble. I think he fumbled on the way in to score a touchdown. Not that would have made a difference in this game, but, you never know. He leaves 25 points on his bench in Calvin Ridley. I'm not going to knock him for that. I mean, I don't know who else. Jesus Christ, 47-13. Yikes, Hawk. Yikes. How did I almost lose to you, buddy? That's an ass whooping. But hey, I will say, when it rains, it pours. It's CFB. It's very easy to start tilting. He's ready for the San Diego State frauds. The fraudsters, Craig. But, for Nick, Pollard had a very good game. Brian Robinson continues to be extremely productive. Obviously, MHJ, 4 catches, 2 touchdowns, 130 yards, right? Is that sustainable? Probably not, right? But 30 points from him. Andrews had a little bit of a bounce back game. Not great, 11 points, but solid. This is, Richardson kind of came crashing back down to reality. I mean, 77% start-sit accuracy for Nick. Not good at all. I mean, he leaves Braylon Allen on his bench. I mean, what are you thinking there, leaving Braylon Allen on your bench? 20 points. Jalen Polk, 9 points on the bench. Ty Chandler, 10 points on the bench. For Tank, I mean, only 3 points. It really hurts my heart, really. He's kind of looking like he might be the odd man out. I'm sure he'll have a good right game against me this week. A little bit of foreshadowing, but I'm just a little bit disappointed by that. I'm a little bit disappointed by that. So, anyways, both these teams are 1-1. So congrats, Nick. I mean, you found a way to win despite underperforming. Damn, Duncan's projection was 151. It was 157. He scored 86 points. 86. What is that? That's like 80 points almost under projected. That might be a league record. Nobody might touch that the whole season. Holy shit. So anyway, let's go ahead here and get into a recap of the waiver wire. Obviously, steal sweepstakes, right? Stop the steal, right? Carson Steele, the big bell of the ball. I put my nuts on the table for him. I didn't want him. I don't believe in this guy at all. I don't think he's going to be good. I think he might get maybe 6-7 points a game, but it's probably going to be a 3-headed monster. It's running back. They're probably just going to throw 60 times a game. But I need running backs. I didn't have a choice. My hands were tied. All right. And I want him. $59. I went back and forth. I think my initial bid on him was $69. I dropped it down to $59. That was 50% of my remaining budget. I think I ended up dropping it down to maybe 54 actually, maybe 54 today, and then I put it back up to 59. Hawk lost out 52 fab. Connor was in for 21. JD in for 15, and Blanton in for 3, just for shits and gigs. The second big bell of the ball, huge. Quentin Johnston, he learned how to catch. This guy, he learned how to catch. Isn't it a miracle? What a shocker of how much a coach can change the culture, right? Harbaugh's in there. He's catching touchdowns now. He's a leading wide receiver. Craig gets him for 33 fab. Rib was in for 21. Hawk in for 15. JD in for 12. Wilson in for 9. Connor in for 9. Ford in for 1. Like he was going to go for that, you idiot. Josh, idiot. Connor did not totally strike out, though. He picks up Kareem Hunt for 21. I was also in on Kareem for 5, and Ford was in for 1. Ford, you got to open up that checkbook, brother. I feel like Ford always has the most fab left at the end of the season because he's not a big spender. He's a very frugal guy. I understand probably being a firefighter, you want to You certainly don't get paid what you're worth. I'm going to tell you that right now. All right. Thank you for your service, Josh. All right. Whatever they pay you, it's not enough. You save lives on a daily basis, whether you're out in the field or you're just sitting around, eating and cooking and cleaning. I tell you what, I think I said this on another video, but if you want your bacon cooked right, you go to Josh Ford. He'll cook your bacon up right. All right. Not crispy, not raw. All right. Just the perfect texture, the perfect cook on bacon. Some of the best I've ever had. Some of the best I've ever had from Josh Ford over draft weekend. I'm not even exaggerating there. So, Josh, even if you missed out on a lot of these big guys, at least you have that in your back pocket. All right. I want you to take some solace in that fact. All right. You got some damn fine bacon making skills. All right. There you go. Obviously, another moving. We had another 10 players picked up, just like last week. Another 10 players, more fab, obviously, this week than we had last week. Hawk doesn't completely strike out. He does pick up Derek Carr for 20. Duncan was in for 16. I was in for 2. Duncan's consolation prize is Brock Purdy gets him for 17. Rip was in for 6. I was in for 1. Savoy pivoted away from Hunter Henry, obviously after his bid got exposed. Hand up. I don't understand how sleeper works. We've got to figure it out now. All right, we've got to figure it out now. Shouldn't happen again the rest of the season. Pivots away, gets Mike Gesicki. No other bids for Mike Gesicki. 11 fab. He could have got him for 1. He gets him for 11. So, hey, good job. Piss that fab winnings right down the drain right away. I'd love to see that. Josh didn't strike out either. He does pick up Josh Reynolds for 8 fab. Craig was in for 17, but Craig had already picked up Quentin Johnston, so that bid got canceled out. Which, hey, Josh Reynolds, 11 points and 15 points the last 2 weeks. Very solid. Seems like he's a favorite target of little bum-ass Bo Nix. JD ends up getting Hunter Henry for a discount. I think JD originally had a $14 bid in him, ends up getting for 5. Blaine was in for 3. Connor picks up Jordan Weddington for 3. Savoy and Ford were in for 7 and 6, but their bids were canceled out after they picked up other players. And then I got a new backup quarterback in Geno Smith after dropping the bum-ass Jared Goff. So very, very active waiver wire the first 2 weeks. I'm not sure any of the players that have been picked up the first 2 weeks are really any good at all. They're probably not. But hey, you never know. So let's go ahead here and get into a recap or a preview of this week's matchups. We'll start off here with actually, what's going to be the game of the week? Actually, I haven't looked at this. Oh, that actually might be a good one. Yes, it will be a good one. So we'll start off here with the two-tone hog mollies versus Curse of the 101, Taylor's version. Nick's projected to beat my ass 143 to 131. I think that Sleeper is sleeping on my projections just a little bit, to be quite honest with you. I think that they're overvaluing Nick's team a fair amount. Obviously, I can't bet on my own game, but I think that Curse of the 101 plus what is that? Plus 12 now. It was plus 15 earlier. I think plus 12 is a little bit of a sneaky snake. If you don't like that one, I think Nick's team total under 143 is a very, very safe bet. I really think it's a very, very safe bet. It's not going to be my lock. It's a very safe bet. I don't know that I have a lock this week. I looked at it. I was trying to feel it out. I don't know that I feel 100% certain about any. It seems like Sleeper might be adapting to to their projections a little bit. Maybe just because everybody's hurt, like Savoy said. But I don't know. Nick and I are working out the arrangements of our bet. We usually traditionally have had a bet between our matchups. Of course, we didn't have one last year whenever Nick's team was ass. It's quite funny how that works out. How Nick's projected to beat me by double digits, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what's our bet going to be this year?" And then last year, whenever I was projected to beat him, and I did beat him, he was nowhere to be found. He was nowhere to be found. So I just think that's quite interesting. I think that's quite funny to me. We're going to work something out. The details are to be determined. I will say that the bet, we did agree to this at least, that the bet will only be effective if one of us are to go 2-0. Because obviously we do play each other at least twice this year. Maybe 3 times if we meet in the horse ass or meet in the playoffs. We'll see. But as of right now, we don't know what that's going to be. But we do know that we want to wait to see if either one of us ends up beating the other one twice. So more on that to come. That being said, I do think I cover, but I don't think I hit my projection either this week. I do think the Nick wins this one, so we'll go with Nick in that one. Next here, we got Flo's Fury versus Doesn't Contribute, the battle of the Bella Vista Bandits, isn't it? Wilson is projected to win 134-130. Can Wilson stay hot? 2-0 versus 1-1. Craig does not have a starting wide receiver in there right now. Still a little bit uncertain. Is A.J. Brown going to play? Is he not going to play? So once Craig does get a third wide receiver in there, really a fourth because he's starting QJ in his flex, he should be projected to win. Let's see. He should be projected to win anywhere between 140, 150, somewhere around there, to 134. Wilson, I think, has some tough. I think both these guys have some tough matchups. Honestly, once this lineup might get locked, this might be the play here, is another matchup total under 134 to, let's just say, a 140. 143 maybe. I kind of feeling that under. Look, questionable. I like Craig in this one. I think Craig gets up to 2-1. I think Wilson. I think his luck might run out this week, and he falls at 2-1. Let's see. Next here, we got All You Need Is Love versus the Father Figures. Another huge projection for Ford, 154-135. I'm not really sure why Sleeper hates Rip's team so much. He doesn't really have a solid flex. He's got Madison in there right now. I'd be quite surprised to see that stick. Obviously, he's down Cooper Kupp. Addison may or may not play. If Addison doesn't play, Rip's basically forced to probably start Christian Watson and hope for the best. You can't put in Luke McCaffrey. You can't, right? I think that Ford probably just has a little bit too much firepower, and I like him to bounce back after the did he win last week? He did, right? I wish the streaks were on here. That was one thing ESPN did. He did win last week, so I like him to maybe get on a little bit of a hot streak and go to 2-1, drop Rip to 0-3. Perfectly familiar territory for Rip. Should not be hitting the panic button at all. Rip went 0-4 last week. Still, somehow, despite a negative 120, negative 300 point differential, still found a way to get into the playoffs. I think he'll probably be just fine. Next year, we got the Stroud Boys versus Hawk My Tua. This is I'd like to say this is an easy one, right? I'd like to say that. I would. But you got Burrow and Jamar playing against maybe the worst defense and worst secondary in the league, on Monday night. I don't think any lead is going to be safe for Savoy. That being said, I just don't think that Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are going to be enough to single-handedly beat Savoy. Because, Savoy's got some Monday night players of his own. He's got Gesicki. He's got James Cook. He got a Monday night doubleheader this week. only an hour apart from the start time. It makes no sense to me. I don't know why the ESPN started doing that, but it's ignorant. It is what it is. But I got to go with Savoy in this one. I think Hawk does drop to 0-3. If that line was a little bit closer, even if it isn't, I still might take Savoy -9. I think that might be a juicy one. My stat keeper, you don't have to keep up with these bets, right? Only keep up with my locks. I'm throwing a lot out there this week. I'm trying to get the juices flowing for people to start bidding on games. This one's a tough one. I think the only thing I'd for sure feel comfortable about is probably that Hawk my Tua under. I think that team total under 138. I just, what have you shown me, right? You're averaging 93 points a game. You think you're going to get to 140, 138? I don't. That's the lock. That's the lock of the week right there. Hawk my Tua, team total under 138.82. Take it to the bank. There will be action from the commish on that line. I can guarantee you that, because I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see 138 from this team. They haven't shown me that to me, right? Anyways, our penultimate matchup here. Dirty Birds versus Kickers Lives Matter, 140 to 159 in Connor's favor. He's 2-0. He's going to be 3-0. Not really much to say here. I don't think Connor hits 160 again. I think last week was probably the best week he's going to have all season. Golly, bro, you're abusing the hell out of that auto sub, aren't you, buddy? Be a man. Set your own lineup, all right? Don't you let the computer set your lineup for you. I just think the Dolphins are going to see a lot of stuff. I mean, Connor's going to win because Duncan Sam's not in a good place. This might be another really good one. 150 to 160. What is that? That's 160 to 140. I'm sorry. That's 300 points. I think the under in that game might be a nice little sprinkle as well. To be quite honest, I don't see either one of these teams hitting their projection. To be quite honest with you, I just don't see it. But anyway, Connor will win that game for sure. All right, and then that brings us to our game of the week here. We don't have a lot of stuff here in the house as we're trying to sell it. Huh? The Blue Bunny? The Bad Bunny? All right. I kind of ate all the chocolate chips out of it though, so it's not. Huh? Crump? Nah. I need stats. I need stats to be able to read off. Anyways, our game, our Blue Bunny, Bed Bunny, game of the week, salted caramel craze, Blue Bunny ice cream, the frozen dairy dessert. It's got sea salt caramel frozen dairy dessert, sea salt caramel swirls. Say that 5 times fast. Chocolate flavored sea salt caramel bunnies. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I haven't seen a single damn bunny. They just been little chocolate chunks, and I gobble them up, right? Anyways, it's got about 9 servings per container, only 220 calories per serving. I think I've kind of picked at this for, I would say probably at least, a dozen times. So, staying under the calorie count, that's always nice to see. A fair amount of sodium, a lot of saturated fats, 40%, a lot of added sugars, 40%. You don't want to see that. But what you see is what you love, right? What you see is what you love. So grab a spoon, dig in, and see for yourself. Every bite is fun, all right? Buy the bowl full. Years and years with bunny ears since 1913. So they've been doing this a long time, Blue Bunny, all right? They've been doing this a long time. So, and hey, it's not bad. I'm not a big caramel guy. I definitely like it mixed with stuff. And this is kind of looking a little worse for the wear, a little worse for the wear. But let's see if I can find some chocolate bunnies.
Ooh, it's kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of getting a little old.
What the hell happened to it?
Anyway, cheers.
What happened to it? It's supposed to be like smooth. That's not it.
Yeah, definitely time for this to probably find its way to the trash. But hey, Blue Bunny, the official salted caramel craze ice cream of the Bring That Wood Fantasy Football League. The Swamp Donkeys and the McCockners, two teams that are 1-1. Or I'm sorry, Swamp Donkeys are 1-1. JD is 2-0. Somehow, some way, 2-0. He is projected to win 147 to 145. I think that the unders are really your friend here if you're in the gambling mood. I don't foresee either one of these teams hitting their projection as well. Battle of the quarterback, you got Mahomes versus Kyler Murray. For somehow, some way, Mahomes is still projected 40 points. He's been projected 40 points every week. What's he done? He's scored 26 and 19. I think that trend continues. Kyler continues to beat his projection, to be quite honest. Sleeper guy, he's trying to fuck me up. Well, I guess he did in this first week. He only scored 22 points, but he scored 38 last week. Playing a Detroit defense, the secondary is not great. Don't think he's going to be able to run as much against Detroit as he was able to do against the Rams. So, I mean, Jalen really carved up Atlanta. I do think Atlanta has a pretty solid defense, to be quite honest. On paper, this should be easy, right? But in reality, Kyler's played better, so we're going to go with Kyler in that one. Battle of the running back, you got Zach Charbonnet. Kenny Walker, I think, is going to be out again. I'm pretty sure. If he is, David Montgomery versus Rachaad White and Aaron Jones. Push. I don't want it. No. Not doing that. Not doing that. No, sir. Put Jahmyr Gibbs in your starting running back slot, JD. Don't be disrespectful like how Blaine was last year playing Puka in his flex. All right? Just don't do that. No. Battle of the wide receiver, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, JSN, and Shaheed versus Nico Collins, DJ Moore, and Amari Cooper. Blaine in that one. Close. But we'll go with Blaine. I think Amon-Ra is just a little bit better than Nico, JSN, and DJ. It might slight edge maybe to DJ. But Amari's been very bad. Just very bad. Looks like he's washed. And Shaheed's done nothing but prove people wrong the first 2 weeks. Battle of the tight end, Parkinson versus Freiermuth. I guess Freiermuth. Garbage. And then battle of the flex. These two guys. That's nice gamesmanship by Blaine now. I see that. He puts Bijan in his flex to match JD's flex of Jahmyr Gibbs. That is nice. I do like to see that. I do. I really do. That's interesting. Is T. Higgins going to be back this week? Probably not. Even if he is, do you want to play him? Against the worst secondary in the league? Probably, but, he's probably not going to play. Battle of flex, I'll go push. These guys are really good. I really like both of these guys. We'll push that one. Ultimately, I really have pushed pretty much every matchup besides wide receiver, so I'll go with Blaine. JD just doesn't seem like a 3-0 team to me. Yeah, I think we'll go with Blaine in that one to get to 2-1 somehow, some way. This guy's gonna keep getting away with it despite his bad injury luck he's had. So, anyways, that's all I got this week, fellas. Hogs are playing at Auburn this weekend. JD was going to go to the game. I don't think he's going to go to the game anymore. Don't blame him. The line's like -3. I would be stunned if we don't lose by double digits. Stunned, to be quite honest. I don't think Auburn's very good, but I think we're worse. So, anyways, good luck this week. Be safe out there. Have fun. And as always, woo pig.